I have Jacques on for another interview. Today, we are going to talk about how GoStaff has become a partner to leader now during COVID, and also how to keep your employees safe with these new COVID guidelines. Jacques knows this space better than anybody. He's been with GoStaff a long time. So I will go ahead and bring him on and have him introduce himself.
Yes, thank you, Chrissy. Thanks for having me on. For those out there that don't know me, my name is Jacques Albarran. I am the U.S. Operations Director of Trades for GoStaff. Been with the company 14, going on 15 years now. And yeah, it's definitely interesting times that we're in right now with the pandemic and everything going around and surrounding it.
And so, I know we're going to talk about all industries right now. And again, COVID guidelines, they're in different industries. I know you guys are heavy into construction also. Construction is still an essential business here in California. So I would love for you to chat about kind of what you've seen in that space to start with.
Yeah, it's definitely still an essential industry. And as everybody can agree, or at least with with very little dissent, construction is very much the backbone of the industry, of the economy here in the United States. It's blue collar, it's working class, and look at what the housing crisis did and how it affected the economy when that went down, and we had all of our construction workers out of work. So if you put that into the same kind of capacity, into the same space, and see how COVID is affecting and shutting down businesses, if it were to shut down our construction industry, it would definitely have the same impact overall on our economy. And if you want to go further down into that, how the United States definitely leads as far as a global economy goes. So if we're impacted, everybody's going to be impacted further down the line as well. And we definitely don't want that.
No, for sure. And I'm glad you talked about this because I know, and today, just for everybody that knows, this interview is being done on April 22nd. It's airing on the same day. We want to make sure this information is very timely because everything's moving so fast. Gavin Newsom, I just saw him speak recently, and he was saying, even when California comes back on, online, there's going to be a new normal. So there's going to be still some social distancing, still maybe wearing masks, no handshakes, still implementing these sanitation regulations, I'm sure. So I'd just be curious to see kind of how we kind of get back to the new normal in all these industries.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to be, the new normal is going to be an interesting time for everybody. I think the handshake is going to go the way of the fist bump, or some kind of special secret handshake that you only got from your college fraternity or best friends childhood growing up. But yeah, I mean, I anticipate that we're going to see people wearing masks more often and out and about. I definitely believe hygiene is going to be looked at a lot more. And I believe that some of the things that we are doing right now to get ahead and cope with what is happening is going to become the normal throughout not just the construction industry or industrials industries, but normal in all walks of life.
Definitely. And I would love for you to dive a little deeper into that. What kind of, I know there's new rules that were unheard of before, new positions that came into play. Like, where do you guys see this in different industries, and what two roles? Again, I know construction was one of them. What were some new roles that never existed before?
Sure. So one of the things that we were doing or are doing currently is we had the foresight to be able to look at the trends, be able to look at all the information that was coming in, look at all the recommended information that was coming in from the CDC, from OSHA, and from all the different authorities on the matter. As you said before, it is definitely ever changing. And it was confusing at first to be able to associate and to be able to see what information was fact, what was truth, what was opinion, and what honestly is fake news out there, just trying to scare the public. And so what we did was put all that information together. We actually pioneered doing this is putting together a comprehensive guide, as putting all the information as it relates to the industry and to our partners, to our clients, and make it something that was more digestible, easier to follow, for them to understand what the recommendations were, what they should expect that their employees were doing on site. And then, which led us, if you allow me to dive a little bit deeper into that, which then jumped into us, again, looking at all that information and innovating, and kind of sparking off ideas in our meetings, and saying, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of requirement, there's a lot of recommendations, there's a lot of um, things that should be done. And for any one individual to be doing this, we thought it might very well overwhelm um, a job site, or a company with having to keep up with things. So we came up, we developed and created a brand new position, COVID-19 coordinator, for an individual to be trained and versed on all of the recommendations from the different sources, and to be able to identify what needed to be done in order to be able to keep everybody safe on the job site, in order to keep things open and moving in a normal fashion, as normal as it could be anyway.
Yeah, right. And then COVID cleaners also, right? That was like another one.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the recommendations on that's coming out is for companies to have a rigorous cleaning and hygiene uh, implementation, or procedures throughout. So we did the same thing for the cleaners, which was we put a training program together so that they knew what they needed to identify as far as cleaning standards were, what kind of cleaning products they should be using, what time frame they should be cleaning on, and definitely started offering that as well to all of our industry partners.
And that's, I failed to mention, Go Staff's been around since 2001. You guys are one of the largest staffing firms in Southern California. So I know you guys know your stuff. And again, you guys are so great at being partners with these employers and these businesses. But now you guys are leading the charge in what to do during COVID, which is super exciting to see. It's been fun to do these videos with you guys so that, the employers watching and listening, can really think this out. Like, oh my gosh, what do I do next? How am I prepared? So what's the, kinds of people you guys, like, who are you guys hiring for these new roles?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to tangent really quick. So off of your comment, we definitely have had a paradigm shift. I think everybody is looking at things differently nowadays, but GoStaff as a company has had a paradigm shift where we always thought of ourselves as a partner to our clients, and being able to adapt to their needs. And as of late, we've shifted from just being a partner to actually leading. We believe that we know the direction that we need to go in, and we're showing our partners the direction they need to go in by helping them go in that, do everything that they need to do in order for them to be able to stay safe, for them to stay open, honestly, for them to be able to come home at night if they're out working in the field and feel confident that they're not tracking anything home, and exposing their family, their kids, or anyone else to any of this that's going to make everything worse. Now, going back to the question that you had just stated, we pride ourselves, and I know I've definitely brought a level of confidence in, I believe we are the best, and our skill set and our mind frame of looking for the best has always permeated everything that we do. And developing this new position, uh, building the job description, we knew exactly what it was that we were looking for. So we were looking for individuals that were going to have an eye for detail, individuals that were going to be confident in themselves and their ability to be able to communicate effectively, written and verbal, on a job site to various different levels of workers and management, to be able to get across the message of what needed to be done. What we also did was we understand our market, we understand our industry, we understand our people, and we've done this in the past. So we were able to really adapt quickly, identify the individuals that we had within our pool that were not working or that were slowed down, that were on the bench, if you will, ready to get in the game, and say, "Hey, you have these qualities. Let me talk to you about this position," and have them go through the training materials and the training packet that we built, designed specifically for this, to be able to get them up to speed so that we can strategically place these individuals out into our communities and on these job sites, not just in construction, both on the coordinator side and on the cleaning side, for everybody's benefit.
No, and so, I love that. You guys have, 60 employees within Go Staff already. You guys have like a current pool that you were tapping into of like 500, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we definitely, it sounds like a large number. It's actually not. So the relationships that we have with our employees, not just our clients, but our employees, even if they are external employees, not in the office working, they're my employees. They are my long-term employees. I've had people working for me as long as I've been with GoStaff. And so they are my permanent employees. We just put them, they're just on loan, or as I like to call them, they're my SEAL team, excuse me, they're my SEAL Team 6 being dispatched into the field to be able to remedy the problems.
That is super cool. So
So
they've been with you for like 16 years and they just dispatch to different jobs when needed?
yeah, absolutely. It's staffing is a unique industry, and even more so in construction, because everything moves at such a fast pace, and our clients really don't want to know what is going on in the back end. They just need to know that when they call, they can trust that we're going to be able to give them what it is that they need, at the time that they need it. And so, quick story, I had um, an employee of mine who was with us for a very long time, and he came to the office and he said, what, this job site, the guys, they're giving us dirty looks, they're looking at us, and they're just not really treating us as one of them. And I said, that's because you're not. You're coming in to be able to solve a problem that they couldn't solve for themselves. They're reaching out because they couldn't keep up. And so you have to think of yourself as coming in and helping them. And they might be a little threatened, but at the end of the day, you're going to get in, you're going to get it done, you're going to get out, and we're going to go find some other problems to solve. And he really liked that approach. And I remember hearing, he was with me for a number of years after that, before becoming a contractor, and is actually a client of ours now. And I remember hearing him telling other people on a job site that same philosophy. And that it really embodies the relationships that we have and the mindset that we take when we go into these things.
Yeah, I mean, SEAL Team 6, like who wouldn't want to be on that, right? That's amazing. I love that outlook. And, again, maybe possible employees are watching, this interview too. Maybe it's not just employers. Again, they care about being safe during these times. So we'll have all your contact information down on the show notes here on YouTube. People can reach out, call, whether you're an employer or an employee looking for some help. And then that PDF guide you mentioned earlier, we're also linking that below so people can download that really easily. Also, definitely going to put your LinkedIn down there, Jacques. So do you want to talk about like some of these fun videos? You've been making amazing videos from home. I just love it, right? About how working from home, you're doing these little skits just to kind of keep things fun, right? So do you want to talk about some of those?
Yeah, I'm doing these skits, just kind of trying to break up the monotony. It really is different working from home, and for those that have never done it before or are not used to it, it's definitely a drastic change from the normal. Having to be able to balance the family, and the home situation, where before, at least for myself, you're able to separate that because, I leave in the morning, I'm going to work, I'm handling business, as opposed to now I'm separating myself from literally, 5 feet, there's a door, and on the other side is the family. And, I can hear sometimes the ruckus going on, and, little feet pitter pattering, running around. I have two kids under 2 years, and so it's definitely, it can be very involved. So I've been making these videos in order to be able to, that one in particular, just kind of show it up and break up the monotony a little bit. And, I don't get the chance to be able to get out into the field and interact with clients like I do usually on a regular basis. So putting these videos together allows me to get my face out there and have people see and know that, although we are majority working at home, that I am still in the trenches with them. I am still working. I still do have. I still think of them and have their best interests at mind when we're creating policies and building these job profiles.
Yeah, and speaking of these job profiles and what another thing you guys are doing, which is really cool, is this like in-house certification training program that you guys created from the ground up just for COVID. So I would love for you to elaborate on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it started out with making sure that the job position that we created was meeting our standards. We wanted to make sure that if we were putting our employees in a position to where they were managing hygiene and sanitation on a job site, that they knew what the recommendations were, what the suggestions were, and that it wasn't coming from just one source, but incorporating all of the different authorities that had input on this. So we created a training program, along with a video and materials, checklists for them to be able to look at, along with a test, so that they understand them, to ensure that they understand the material. And we created this in-house certification program. So, and one of the things that we are doing, because our interest is in our community, our interest is in making sure that everybody has this information, is able to utilize it. Um, we are offering it to everybody, whether you're a current client, or a future client, or someone who just wants to be more familiar with us, or has no idea what steps they need to take in order to be able to keep their job site safe. We're offering it out to everybody.
No, that's great. And then I know the owners are super involved. The CEO of Go Staff, Stacy, she predicted that stay-at-home order, before it even happened in California, and that guideline for, again, the increased sanitation requirements and the COVID cleaners that needed to come on board. And you guys put them in action quickly, right?
Yeah, yeah. Stacy would say that she has ESP. um, but it definitely was looking ahead. And Stacy, as our CEO and our leader, definitely looking and not confining ourselves or waiting for us to be told what needs to be done or what it is that we need to do. The paradigm shift in our thinking, like I said, we've gone from just partnering to actually leading. And that was, in my opinion, the first step was Stacy saying, "Hey, you know, we really don't know what's out there or what's being done. So let's make sure that we're keeping our employees safe. Let's hire people specifically for the sanitation of our office in order to be able to keep our employees internally safe, and so that we're not coming down with not just COVID, but anything at this point."
And then my last question for you is, employers, again, that are watching this video, listening to this interview, what would your advice be, whether they, have their own team they're running, if they're using a different staffing company right now, what would be that advice on, how are they getting help, the help that they need and staying on track?
Yeah, that's actually a great question, Chrissy. And I believe if you're listening to this podcast, or if you're watching this video, you really need to think about who your partners are. There's that old saying, "Show me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are." right? And that kind of relates to this in that you really need to look at who you're doing business with right now and what they are doing, not just for themselves, but what it is that they're doing for you during these times. And if your partners, if your cohorts, if your subs, if your staffing company hint isn't doing something to help you get through this, but not just get through this, lead you through this and make sure that you are better because of this and that you're going to flourish on that backside of this when everything gets back to normal, you should really consider who you're doing business with.
No, and that's perfect to end on because yeah, it's not, it's, you know, it's business as usual in some respects, but you got to tack on these new guidelines, these new requirements for COVID, keep the train moving, right? And yeah, you guys are on top of it.
Yes, we are.
Yes. Well, thank you, Jacques, so much for coming on today for this interview. Again, I'll have all your contact info below. You guys can reach out. You know, I know you guys are great about answering questions. People can call you and just, you know, if there's anything they're concerned about right now, you guys are a great resource.
Yeah, thank you, Chrissy, for having me on again. And anyone that reaches out to me, I'm very good about getting back in contact, even if you're shooting messages over to me on LinkedIn. I answer all those questions for you guys to the best of my ability. If not, I am very confident that I can point you in the right direction for you guys to be able to get the information you need.
Awesome. Have a great rest of your day. And thanks again.
Awesome, Chrissy. Thank you.